Hello everybody, welcome back. I'm Count Christo and this is Hearts of Iron 4 Man the Guns Imperial Britain. In the last episode, I believe it was the last episode, the Soviets capitulated and we had a devastating loss resulting in the destruction of our entire Eastern fleet. The Eastern Theatre no longer even exists. It was a devastating blow based on a simple but darn important mistake on my part, attempting to intercept a naval invasion. However, I've thought about it since that actually happened. I think it was actually a good thing, kind of, maybe not, but it had one good outcome, which is, you remember the invasion here? They were trying to land with like 0 organization. Maybe that's because I did org damage to the convoys in that battle, but that could be wrong. I've never heard of that being able to happen. What the heck? Hispanic solidarity. Invite Haiti to the Axis. What has happened to my game? Hispanic solidarity? Am I Mexican now? Or, you know, Hispanic? I'm gonna turn these off and not click them. Diplomatic targeted towards other Latin American countries. I am running a fair number of mods, so it's kind of understandable that we might experience the odd bug. But on land, things in China are stable, and when the tanks arrive, they are not going to be stable. They're going to be glorious in our favor. We're going to prioritize researching more logistics companies. I should definitely have been doing that sooner. We're holding over here. The count in the air is good. The casualty rate is not superb, but it's not that bad. And we're successfully disrupting the enemy fighters. Supply is improving. The bottleneck is the local infrastructure, but we can still increase the amount a little bit by controlling other adjacent provinces. Yes, there's no actual way I can improve the supply in the central region. So what we're going to do is we're going to reorganize this front line so that this supply region is managed by one single army, which only manages that supply region. And then we will customize, well, 2 armies, because we're going to have the tanks there as well. And then we will customize the supply region, so the armies, such that they exactly fill the supply region without any wasted supply, without any excess supply, that is to say. Okay, so first off, everyone in the supply region that isn't a tank, let's go, goes on this. Next up, any and all Garbo American divisions get removed. Is that the right front line I pulled up there? I'm not sure that it was. Which is this one? It's the fullback line. That's the northern one. This is the low supply one. So that's what I want. Good. Okay. Yeah, so these American divisions are going to split off to the sides. You guys should all be on this one. You are now overstocked. No, you can take 30. Okay. This is a medieval Total War soundtrack, by the way, since I know you often ask me. You guys go over there. One more. Okay, one more. Well, here's some. You can go down there as well. Now, this is high supply, isn't it? Yeah. So let's see, is there any dramatic changes I need to be aware of? Like, this tile is being left fairly well defended. Okay, so we'll see what happens when those guys move out. And then we'll look at if we can do anything to change this. I want them to keep attacking me, is the thing, because they are taking, if we look, you know, every time they attack us here, they're taking substantially more casualties than we are. And their manpower, even though it looks better than ours right now, is actually worse, because they are at a higher level, much higher level, of conscription. People were suggesting launch Overlord, not here, but at Norway, because there's easier areas to hold. I think that's a good idea. We would need to go to the Kiel Canal, though, so that we'd have the Danish belts open and we could run supply into these ports. I think we could also, maybe we could do supply that goes into northern Norway and then out of Oslo into these ports without controlling the Danish belts, but it would certainly be an unnecessarily awkward way of doing it. Looks like we need another screening force. Another 2 screening forces. Why isn't that number going up? Okay, there we go. It's ticking up now. Well, I'll put them all out for now then, and we'll just see how that shakes out. Oh, right, it's because one of them is on raiding, isn't it? Which one did I put on raiding? This one. Right, so these guys are taking out any enemy convoys in this area. Right, good. So how are we looking here now that people should have more or less got to their new positions? So we're still quite a bit over. Oh, there's still a few people leaving. Okay. Let's have them leave with a little more urgency. Move with some urgency, as I am a fan of saying. Where are you guys trying to go that you won't? Surely there's plenty of supply in this area, so you should be happy to move between these two tiles. God, the numbers on this front line are increasing and not in our favor. So first off, we'll take out the small divisions. Seems smart first. And obviously we need to take out enough that this front becomes not overstacked. He's now at 24. Where is one of his guys? Ah, one of his guys holding the port. Well, that clearly shouldn't be his army's job. We'll send 3 from up here down instead. Good. 3. Maybe 4. Because if that port fell, it would definitely cause problems, to say the least. Okay, so let's let those guys move out and see if we can hold the line, because it might be that actually overstacking is necessary for us to be capable of holding the line. It would be unfortunate were that to be discovered to be the case, but I remain open to the possibility. Nice, it's promoted, always good. Do we have a bunch more? Got a lot of tanks coming. Right, that should be on single, as should this. You don't have enough for another one. No. Ouch, that's a fierce attack in the north. Well, there's plenty of supply here, no? No, there isn't actually plenty, but there's quite a bit. What army are you in? You're in the Central Army. Okay, you should go to the front, because it's the smaller divisions I'll be taking out. This will hold. We've got crazy defense. Yeah, see, this is the problem. I think we're going to hold there. Yeah, only 3 divisions holding this tile. Doesn't make me a happy bunny. But with the tanks, we should be able to hold. This new guy at the coast yet? Yes, good. Gonna head on down here then. Darn, last time we did that, it looks like we lost some guys to enemy air cover. Let's get some more fighters deployed, and we'll put them in that area. I don't have very many more fighters to deploy, but there's another 4 wings, and we'll have some Belgians staff them. Okay, up here it should definitely hold there. Okay, so now we're at supply equilibrium in this area. That's good. Now that we've done that, let's add in 1 more tank. And we'll take out some more light infantry, as it were. Not actually light infantry, but you see what I mean. And yes, this fallback line should not be in the tank army. And it's possible it shouldn't be here at all. But yeah, well, first off, it should really be on the fallback line, right? And secondly, is there a reason it's not just another army under here? It's a new recording session, so I'm second guessing my previous decision making. He's likely to have some whatchamacallums. Expeditionary forces, not expeditionary forces. Exiled forces. Sorry, it's a new mechanic. Bear with me. So we'll give him that. New tech. Nothing coming in 30 days. Better radar. Wouldn't hurt. Better guns. Wouldn't hurt. Better field hospitals wouldn't hurt. Piercing, I don't think it's that important. We could start working towards Marines, though. We've got a research bonus for that, I think, right? Just here. It's only 1 bonus for Marine technology, though, and we'll definitely want more than the first tech for Marines. The thing is, I'd be going through quite a bit of this tech to get to what would immediately be useful for now, which would be this air superiority. Which doesn't seem very worthwhile. More entrenchment could be good. Oh, we don't have maintenance companies? Okay, it has to be maintenance companies for the tank divisions. Okay, so supply here now slightly over. So let's have 2 of you guys. Pull it back. See how we look after that. Okay, 21 out of 19 is doable. Ideally, I want a tank on every spot along this front line. But we'll see. You're heading out? Right, well, head out with some haste, please. Naval invasions in Malaya all being easily repelled. We're using up our factories nicely. Good. My tanks arrived. Some of them have. Glorious. Okay, you 4. Mission 1. Retake Hong Kong. Get to it. And anywhere they go, they're going to cause supply problems. This is something I have reconciled. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, tanks, new plan.
Ready.
There was no naval invasion. Ah, because it was against the Chinese, of course. Get yourselves... No, excuse me. What have you done? Stay in this. There we go. Get yourselves down here and help me repel this.
Ready.
When these 3 arrive, they can go handle this. Okay. This should be able... We should be able to repel this fairly easily. It's a bad port, so they're not going to have very much supply. Yeah, only 4 supply in there. And our wall in the north is holding fine. There's cheaper fighter production. That's lovely. We do want jets, so... But I think I want marine tech first. Let's do that. I like still having a focus tree at this stage in the game, by the way. It's a feature of the fact that we're in Man the Guns. That, you know, the British tree is much, much larger than it has been historically. Looks like the Chinese might be able to drive these guys out themselves. Excellent. Our allies are gaining strength. Meanwhile, on the front line, holding, not too bad on supply. Let's take 1 more guy out, just to make it absolutely lovely. And there we go. Holding and decent stuff. Let's go up to level 5 forts all the way along this border. As an urgent matter, I think. Because I really want to not have to be kind of constantly terrified about it. Alright, tanks can now roll in. At great slowness, given the lack of supply, but oh well. They really, really cause problems. But as we rack up some more logistics company tech, it's going to get steadily better. And yes, of course, as soon as they enter battle, they annihilate all in their path. Even if that battle is in the mountains. As soon as we deploy in, we'll start seeing some crazy damage. Yeah, we're doing many, many times more damage than the enemy divisions here. Good. I mean, attacking into the mountains with tanks is just not intelligent, is it? So let's not do that. You guys come down here. Yeah, and they are going to have fuel issues because of not being able to move it to them because of the supply status problems. So I suppose what we should do really with tanks is use them a little bit defensively for now. U5 can head to... We actually could do with another Chinese blocking army. Well, actually we couldn't because the supply status is the limiting factor. So I suppose U5 can go here. Which puts him at 4 short of full. Look at that. Doesn't that work out just great? And in fact, you know what? I think our dominance of the seas might permit me to do this. As long as I have them deploy. Well, they'll go through the channel, but that should be okay. Yeah, so I want to use my tanks defensively because that improves our fuel situation. Oh, hello. Good thing we beefed up our defenses down here, although the said defenses are having trouble because of the supply. But it's okay. We'll manage. Weak coastline just there. Let's have a quick go in there, shall we? Well, weak points here as well. Free land I will take. That's advisable. We've got a lot planning bonus on these units. That one we may not win once their Cass starts hammering us. Cass really is the bane of our campaign right now. As someone put it in the comments about the invasion of France. It was the Cass that really got us there. You're absolutely right. Yeah, a couple of people trying to attack us here as we ship through the channel, but mostly just taking the damage themselves. Excellent. Okay, let's see. With 11 guys, disorganized attack. You know, they're not Marines or anything, but let's see if we can nick Malta back, shall we? That would be grand. Supply status is A-OK up there. That's what I like to see. Meanwhile, this invasion has been repelled, and we did gain a little ground. Okay, okay. Let's concentrate in the south. Sounds good. You... Yes, you are intentionally staying behind. So I think I'll leave you there. That's fine. Good. Driven them out of here. Tanks approaching down here, but yeah, with no fuel, they're going to be fighting at... Yeah, firstly, traveling at vastly slower, and secondly, operating at vastly worse capacity. One thing we could do would be build a 40-width tank division, but we could just deploy half as many tank divisions if I really wanted to start concerning myself with that. Are you guys actually losing organization because of supply? Yes. Ouch. Listen up. Well, that sucks. It's not a great deal I can do about that. It's local infrastructure, and there's really nothing I can do about local infrastructure. There's no more like such and such roads stuff I can do, is there? I don't believe so. In fact, those decisions seem to have gone. Oh no, here they are. Okay. Right, I was worried they'd maybe been replaced by this random Hispanic solidarity thing that we've picked up along the way. More support, nice. And yeah, I suppose since they did break this port, we should throw a couple more defenders there. Good. Okay, we are losing fuel, which I suppose means some of these raiders should stand down. And can I stand down a few more of these guys as well? Looks like yes, I definitely can. I'm going to be okay with just one, apparently. That should help a lot with the fuel situation, not running all of those expensive fleets. The naval invasion of Malta is indeed maybe going to go in our favor, which is good. Tanks are arriving and have stabilized on organization, I think. Maybe not. Let's see, can they push in even with no organization? No, their low supply is hitting them. Why isn't fuel hurting them? Oh, maybe because these are these ones at the top that are currently actually have got fuel. Yes, no, without supply, the tanks are not worse than useless, but close. So let's do some slow tank implementation and see how that goes. Let's leave 2 of you down here, the rest of you head inland, and we'll see how that goes. Maybe now we'll have enough supply in the south, but I don't know, because our infantry were already soaking up a lot of it. It'd be great if we could attack Siam. Obviously, we can only do that if they actually... Oh, we can justify on them, actually. Because they are... because they've caused world tension by joining the Axis. Interesting. We may wish to make use of that. These armor divisions I'm going to use to shore up the German front, just to make absolutely sure we've got it handled. First off, they can head to here, and then I'll assign them from there. Yes, you are destined for the same fate, my good man. Let's have you down in Casablanca. But yes, I don't know, maybe we should start building... I mean, the other thing I could do about fuel, of course, is, you know, import 100 from the US. Because with free trade, you know, we're obviously sending away huge quantities of fuel. Okay, looks like we are going to get in here, which is very good news. Malta falling to us will help with our plane supremacy over the Central Med, which was, as I'm sure you recall, a problematic issue. Yeah, you guys... Oh, first off, don't fly like that. It's idiotic. Okay, good. We'll leave behind a sizable port defense garrison. And the rest of you did have the invader trait, which is helping out our good old Belgian leader here. Give him the liaison. Let's try Rhodes next, I suppose. If we can retake all of these islands, and then maybe Sardinia, we could open up avenues for attacks on Italy. High supply area Italy, of course. If we can get a good port, we'd be in fairly good shape to be able to deploy a lot of tanks. Ooh, hello. That's quite a serious invasion. It looks like we have been able to hold it off, rather. Good. And yes, we are doing our best to strike at them in the sea here. Not hugely successfully. Yes, the introduction of just our 2 tanks up here is causing big supply issues, but let's see if we can make some moves with them. They're not so good in these hills, but there's only one line of hills we have to get through. It's not looking very promising. Let's see with some infantry support. Got a lot of breakthrough. Yes, looking much better now. Good. We will see if we can once again push to this coast. Yeah, should be good. Nice plains area, good for tanks. Just here, need to keep up both of those angles. There we go, got them there. Good. And then of course, once we have them on the back foot, the tanks excel at rushing through. Hopefully the Chinese will have enough manpower to cover our advance, because I certainly don't. Or at least not that I'm willing to deploy. It's a new supply zone, that's good. Is there a logistics guy? We have the attrition down. We are probably suffering from a fair amount of attrition. I think infantry equipment wouldn't be the worst. Or no, yeah. Night operations for our Air Force seems advisable. Yes, sir. Oh crap. That was a mistake. I just got my tanks pocketed then. That would have been rather embarrassing. We've got men moving in now, including Chinese backup. We may still get our guys pocketed. Is he going to get there first? Good, the Chinese tank got there first. Well, if we can precipitate a large-scale Chinese offensive against us by prodding out with these tanks, that's also fine. It's good, in fact. Wow, the supply here is so overused. What is using so much? It's just army. I mean, it's also, of course, the large allied army in the area. Let's try an offensive down here, but I do not have at all high hopes. Open up as many avenues as we can. We're not doing terribly. Marine research can start in 20 days, so I'll just hold that research slot until then. Yeah, no, this isn't gonna fly, is it? Well, it's possible. Yes, sir. Open up a 3rd avenue of attack. I mean, it's from the seas. It's also across a river, so we'll deal pretty quick. But I mean, they're not doing terribly, and we can always throw the tanks in again once they've reorged a little bit. Meanwhile, up here, oh, I actually lost a tank division. Whoops! Damn it. Oh well. Honestly, tank divisions aren't at a huge premium right now. It's fuel to run them that's the limiting factor. Make sure they don't exploit that very low org guy. Okay, we've got enough supply here. We have enough supply. No, we don't really. I was thinking we might have enough supply here to support one more guy. Oh, that's going to help. And I'm going to go directly onto the next one. In fact, I'm going to go directly onto the next one with the research slot that's been saving up a little bit of time. Because that is going to make a huge difference to our combat across the whole front, on all fronts, basically. And you definitely have a logistics company, don't you? Yes, good. Meanwhile, up here, yeah, we're down a bit, which means we can afford, when they get there, to hopefully send in these 2 tanks to hold these key spots. Excellent! There's recon as well. All right, I'll hold on to that slot for the Marines. Brilliant. All right, thank you very much for watching, everybody. The glorious retaking of Malta is going to solidify our position in the Mediterranean. The Balearic Isles, Malta. Let me see if I can get these right. Chios is like this one of these ones over here. Or maybe this one. I'm not sure. Then this one, no, this one will be Deimos. This one will be, can't remember. Anyway, thanks very much for watching, everybody. We're going to try and retake some Mediterranean islands and shore up our defenses in the next episode. Till then, thanks very much for watching. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.